Hey planner friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you've got your blanket at the ready because today we are planning for the month of November in my annual passion planner. Let's get started. So the kit I'm using for this is the November monthly from Plannerface, and I do PR for Plannerface, so you can use code RAR10 to save yourselves 10% at checkout and mention my name for a freebie. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with my pen only base, and for my monthly spreads that's pretty much just highlighting the days where I'm not at work. So I've got a few days of annual leave this month plus weekends, and I'm just using this blue passion marker for that. I really struggle with getting straight lines, especially how I do my monthlies, so I'm just using the fine end of the chisel tip to fill in any of the gaps where I've gone a bit wobbly. It's really obvious now, but I think that once I've got all of the rest of the month added in, it kind of masks the fact that my colouring is not that great. As I use a Monday Start Passion Planner, I have a 6-week month for November, so this is going to be slightly different to my October monthly that I shared last month, as I have to use the stickers in a slightly different way. We're still going to end up cutting up a lot of stickers though, so the first thing I'm going to do is take the date headers off of the main washi strips, and like I've said before, if you're a bit iffy about cutting up stickers then maybe my monthlies aren't your style. So next up I'm just going to cut some chunks off of these boxes, so I'll be doing a 1 centimetre thick strip and then a 6mm thick strip, and I want 7 of the 1 centimetre thick strips to go across the top of my spread, and then the 6mm thick strip will be for covering the break it down section. I felt a bit bad having to cut up these boxes because the pattern's so lovely, but I try and bring the pattern of these boxes into my spread as much as possible this week, or this month I guess. Next I'm going to trim the sidebar, and you may notice that there are some stickers missing, and that's because I forgot to trim my sidebar while I was doing all of my other cutting at the beginning of this setup. Anyway, I'm going to start by laying down the date covers. So as I said in my previous monthly, I start sticking from Wednesday back to Monday so that I can then trim the Sunday off of the date strip. Plannerface does do a Monday to Sunday start add-on strip, but I would still have to cut that because it's made for an EC planner which has the month on the other side of the pages, if that makes sense. I can then lay down the Thursday to Saturday strip and trim off the sidebar header from that, and then put Sunday over Sunday, and then like line it up as best I can. As I said before, it's really satisfying that although these date headers aren't made for this planner at all, they fit perfectly over the space. Okay, so next is where we're going to cover up all of the grey boxes, and because this is a 6-week month, there are a lot of them to cover up. So I'm going to start with the big November piece of washi, and I realised that I need to trim off that tiny white bit that would go between the washi and the date headers, but I've already cut those off. And then I'm going to lay that down from Monday to Wednesday, kind of like I did in my October plan with me. And then I'm just going to trim off that excess and save it for later. So next I'm going to take one of the decorative boxes, and I've kind of trimmed the top and bottom off of it so that it will fit nicely in that box, and then stack that with the other part of the November washi and then another decorative box on the other side so that it kind of looks cohesive. I kind of struggle with monthlies because you only do 12 of them a year, and then especially in Passion Planner you only have 1 or 2 of these that have 6 weeks, and they really throw me every time they happen. I had to do a lot of like pre-planning and referring to what I did in August so that I could try and make this work. I'm not super happy with how that bit along the top looks, but it'll do. Anyway, next I'm going to use what would have been the right hand piece of washi over the 4 boxes at the bottom. And again, I had to trim that tiny white slither off the bottom of this washi so that it would fit nicely in the boxes. Next up here is where I was really able to bring in more of that flower pattern. So I cut a 1 centimetre strip off the bottom of these 2 boxes, but that left the top 2 sections of those boxes, which actually fit really well to cover up the last 2 boxes of the calendar. I had a little bit of a struggle actually getting this box to line up properly, but I really think that it makes the bottom section of this calendar look really cohesive. Next I'm going to use my 1 centimetre strips of these boxes, which are now kind of washi strips, to add some extra colour onto the top of the calendar, so I'm just stacking them above the date headers. I normally use the 4 that are attached to each other on the Thursday to Sunday side so that they definitely all line up, and then on Monday to Wednesday I use the other sections that I cut. Now I can start doing some work on the sidebar. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm taking a tiny piece of like leftover sticker paper and just using it to cover the E in November. As I said in my last plan with me, I don't own any whiteout, so I can't white out that November. And then I'm just going to cover the top section of the sidebar with the decorative sidebar sticker and try and get it down straight. And then as always, I'm just going to trim off that excess, as this sidebar sticker is slightly wider than the space you get for a sidebar in Passion Planner. And I'm having to be really careful now because this side of my planner is really chunky and bumpy because of all of the stickers that are underneath it, and I was so worried about cutting straight through the page when I was cutting that sticker. Over the places to go and things to learn boxes, I change the headers to goals and things to buy, and then I just add the sidebar checklists from the kit into my sidebar. And on these checklist boxes I try and have a little bit of the black outline showing around them, I don't know why, but also the checklist matches the opposite header. So the goals header is pink and has a blue checklist, and the to buy header is blue and has a pink checklist. And this month I had a brainwave and did the whole cutting for the sidebar at the same time so that it's all nice and in line with each other. The next thing I'm going to do is use those 6mm strips of washi that I cut to cover up the break it down section. After I put these strips of washi down, I realised that I hadn't cut any washi to cover the personal and work projects headers, but I realised that the vacation strips that come with Plannerface's kits actually fit perfectly over those two headings. Like, I've never used those strips for anything before, they just end up in my leftover stash, so I'm really happy that I found a use for them, because I colour in my annual leave so I don't use vacation strips. So they're a teeny bit longer than the headers are, and I'm just going to trim that excess little bit off. Now that the base is down, I can start adding some bits and pieces in. So the first thing I'm going to add in is all of the holidays. So the 11th of November is Remembrance Day. Obviously the Plannerface kit has the EC holidays in, so it says Veterans Day, but it's the same sort of thing. And then I added in Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I don't know how much shopping I'm actually going to do on either of those days this year, to be honest. And then I guess I was feeling fussy when I set this up, as I'm trimming a teeny tiny bit off the side of each one of these holidays. And yes, I know I forgot to add Bonfire Night in at this point, but I will add it in when I remember. At this point I remembered that I hadn't put in any of my date flags, so I'm going to do that now, and as with my October monthly, I'm just going to put a couple in and then skip out the rest. And as if by magic, there they all are. The next thing I'm going to add in is the only birthday that I have going on in November, and that is my cousin's birthday on the 11th, and because this is a 6-week month, it's really difficult to fit everything in the days, so I'm just lifting up the edges of that date flag with my craft knife so that I can fit the birthday flag underneath it. And as I said in my October monthly, I like a little bit of white space around all of my stickers, so I have just trimmed the edge of that birthday flag off. Next, I'm going to go and add in all of my bills for the month, and these fit pretty perfectly in the space, so I'm not going to do any teeny tiny bits of cutting here, I don't think. Or if I did trim them, I haven't included that footage in this plan with me. Following in from bills, I can add in my payday flags for the month, which is obviously much more exciting than bills. And then with those down, I'm going to just add in all of the bin icons for bin day, which is on Fridays. I don't really need to add in bin day on my monthly spread, but the stickers are there, so I'm gonna add it in. Next, I got a little bit ahead of myself and started adding in like work meetings before I'd finished off my base, so just adding in this sticker for my work meeting on the 3rd, and then I can go in and add the Yoga with Adriene calendar for November, which is called Ground, and then also my big habit tracker in the break it down section. The Yoga with Adriene calendar is just a free printable from her website that I kind of move around to make it Monday start like my Passion Planner calendar, and then the habit tracker is something that I made in Excel and print off myself on sticker paper. The habit tracker actually actually seemed like a little bit too long this month because this is the first time that the tab is down in that section. So I just trimmed off the 31st because I don't need it. The last thing I'm going to do is just use my passion marker to highlight the checkboxes in the project section, and then we can get onto some plans. So the first thing I'm going to add is another holiday strip for bonfire night. Yes, I remembered it eventually. And then I'm going to add in the mini event labels for my yoga classes, and also I cut down one of the big event labels into a mini event label because there's only 3 of those with the kit. And these yoga classes will probably move because I'm actually switching gyms this month, so I don't know how many of my Thursday yoga class I'm going to go to or how many of a yoga class at my new gym that I'm going to go to. But I'm sure I'll talk about that more in my weekly plan with me on Sunday because I will have had a chance to actually use my new gym at that point. So with these mini event labels, on the ones that are actually mini event labels, I cut off the non-flag side, and on the fake mini event label that I made, I cut off the flag side so they all kind of look even. As usual, I then immediately realised that I needed to move one of these yoga classes to fit in another work meeting, so this is why I use removable stickers. And I'm just using a horizontal flag and a little icon to mark that. Next, I'm going to use an event label for Friday the 13th because there's a new Sims pack coming out, and yes, I did take a day of annual leave to play The Sims. And we're pretty much back in lockdown now, so what else am I supposed to use my annual leave for? So that's pretty much all of my plans for this month. There's not a lot going on, but now I can start filling things in. So I'm going in with my white Uniball gel pen to write bonfire night on that holiday flag so that it matches the other holidays. And then for the rest of the spread, I'm going to be using my trusty Pilot Friction erasable pen. It's so weird to think that we are now almost in November and there's only 2 months left of 2020. I can't wait to see the back of it, to be honest. Now that the nights are getting colder and darker, I am just so ready to get under my blanket and stay there for the rest of the year, I guess. That's why there's not a lot going on. It's not like we can go outside and meet people because it's too cold and rainy. I'm not super comfortable about meeting people inside at the moment. So let me know down in the comments, what are you looking forward to in November? Like, I'm just looking forward to The Sims, basically. Sounds a bit sad, but what else is there going on? At least with these 6-week Passion Planner monthly spreads, it looks like you've done loads because everything's a little bit more crammed together. So now I've got pretty much all of my plans written in, I can move on to doing my sidebar and add in my goals section. So my goals section is mostly around fitness goals, and as I said in my October monthly, I don't normally focus on the numbers in this area so much as I'm on performance-based goals at the moment, but I just like to keep a track of it. Then I'm just going to fill in my habit tracker, and although I write the same 8 things in the same order every single month, I started writing the wrong thing in the top box. But yeah, it's that I drink 2 litres of water each day, that I do Duolingo, which I completely have ignored for the last half of October, skincare, nose bend, bed by 11 PM, meditation, and then vitamins and macros. For my meditation, I use the Calm app, and for counting my macros, I use my MyFitnessPal, essentially to kind of stop myself from eating entire packs of biscuits at once. The last thing I'm going to add into this spread is my project section, and the top section I am using for YouTube because obviously this is quite new to me, so I'm just trying to improve every time I do a video. And then the second project section is always health and fitness, so whatever goals I've set myself for that month or that period of the year, I pop in there. And it's usually some variation on stick to my macros better and do more yoga. So we'll see how that goes this month. That's my monthly setup for November, so make sure that you're following me on Instagram if you want to see how this spread evolves over the next month, because as always I'm adding things to my spreads constantly. So that's everything set up for November, guys. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!